There's a version of you right now, living the life you've only dreamed of. And the only thing separating you from it is your frequency. They have the clarity, the peace, the confidence, the abundance, the love. And they're not waiting. They're not chasing. They're not endlessly visualizing or repeating affirmations, hoping for change. They've already become it. And you? You're just one shift away from meeting them. This isn't a metaphor. It's quantum reality. And once you learn how to access this version of yourself, your entire life can transform faster than you imagined. Not through force, not through hustle, but through something far deeper. Something most never discover. You don't build a new reality through action. You do it through frequency. In the next few minutes, you'll uncover what quantum jumping truly is and what it's not. Why your current identity locks your reality in place. How to shift timelines by aligning with the version of you who already has what you desire. The biggest mistake that blocks the jump. And a practical, powerful method to activate a real timeline shift starting today. But this isn't just about learning, it's about remembering. Because deep down, part of you already knows. You were never meant to wait for your dream life. You were meant to leap into it. And by the end of this, you'll understand how. But first, let's open the portal. Before we begin, here's what matters. Quantum jumping isn't magic. It's mechanics of energy, of consciousness, of identity. It doesn't take years of spiritual practice or scientific knowledge. It only takes one thing: a willingness to let go of who you've been, so you can step into who you already are. Stay with me until the end, because this isn't just an idea. By the time we finish, I'll share a simple technique you can use tonight to begin dissolving the old timeline and aligning with the version of you already living the life you desire. You're not here by chance. You're here because your future self is calling you home. First, let's clear up the confusion. When most people hear quantum jumping, they imagine something extreme, like teleportation, astral travel, a wormhole appearing in their living room, or maybe a sci-fi movie where someone hops to a parallel universe and meets another version of themselves. It's easy to assume it's something mystical, or some esoteric skill only a select few can master. But here's the truth. Quantum jumping isn't about escaping reality. It's about changing how you relate to it. And once you grasp what it truly is, not just in theory, but in your body, in your energy, you'll see it's one of the most natural things you've ever done. In fact, you've already quantum jumped many times. You just didn't realize it. So what is quantum jumping? At its heart, it's the act of shifting your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your vibration, to match a reality where a different you already exists. A you who has the clarity, the joy, the confidence, the wealth, the love, the purpose, the peace. That version isn't a dream. That version is real, existing right now in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Quantum physics has long suggested the multiverse theory, that every choice, every possibility, every thought creates a new reality. And while scientists still argue over whether parallel universes literally exist, what matters for us is this: your consciousness chooses which version of reality you collapse into. The you who stays stuck in the same patterns is just one of many. But there's also a you who broke free, a you who chose a different frequency, and with it, a different life. Quantum jumping is the process of choosing that version of you. Let's make this practical. Take the famous double-slit experiment. Particles act like waves of infinite possibility until they're observed. Then, boom, they snap into a fixed point. That's reality. Infinite potential. Until your observation, your focus, your belief, Your expectation locks one of those possibilities into place. Now imagine that instead of particles, we're talking about versions of you. Which one are you focusing on? Which one are you expecting? Which one are you emotionally attached to? Because that's the one you're living. And here's what most people overlook. You don't shift timelines by just thinking about it. You shift by aligning with the vibration of the version of you in that reality. It's not just thought. It's thought plus emotion plus identity. That mix creates the energetic signature the quantum field responds to. Let's be clear. Quantum jumping isn't daydreaming about a better life and waiting for it to appear. It's not repeating affirmations while still feeling undeserving, or trying to pressure the universe into delivering faster, or running from your current reality because you're unhappy. That's not jumping, that's avoidance. And the quantum field doesn't react to fantasy, it reacts to frequency. If you're still anchored in fear, doubt, scarcity, or shame, you're stuck with the version of you that resonates with those emotions. No matter how badly you want something else, you don't get what you want. You get who you are. Quantum jumping requires a true shift in being. You've already jumped. You just didn't realize it. Think back to a moment in your life when something shifted. Suddenly, maybe you had an epiphany. Maybe you took a leap. Maybe you walked away from something toxic. Maybe you began embodying someone new, before there was proof it would work. And suddenly, everything changed. You felt different. People treated you differently. Opportunities showed up. Everything fell into place. That was a quantum jump. It didn't happen because the universe took pity on you. It happened because you switched timelines by resonating with a new version of yourself. And the instant you did, a new reality became available. You've done it before. Now it's time to do it deliberately. Why this matters. Realizing this isn't just intriguing, it's empowering. Because it means you're never trapped. You're never condemned to repeat the same cycles. You're never truly confined to your current self. The door to your next level life isn't sealed. It's just operating at a frequency you haven't matched yet. And once you do, everything transforms. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to deserve it. You just need to claim it. And claiming it means embodying the person who already has it. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how. You'll learn why identity is the bridge between realities, and how to align with the version of you who already possesses what you desire. Ready to leap? Let's begin. Here's a truth that might upend everything you think you know. You're not creating reality through struggle. You're creating it through identity. And until you change who you're being, energetically, emotionally, vibrationally, no external change will stick. Because in the quantum realm, it's not about chasing results. It's about resonating at the right frequency. And your frequency isn't determined by what you desire. It's determined by who you believe you are. Picture this. Right now, endless versions of you exist simultaneously, each making different decisions, holding different mindsets, living different realities. There's a version of you who speaks their mind without fear, has a radiant relationship, thrives in abundance, feels profound fulfillment, moves with purpose, confidence, and calm. This version isn't superior or more worthy. They're just operating from a different identity, and thus a different frequency. And because of that frequency, they inhabit a different timeline. This is where most people stall. They try to change the outer world, take new actions, say new affirmations, visualize new things, but they're still carrying the same core identity underneath. So no matter what they do, they keep snapping back to the same version of reality. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. Let's make this practical. You want abundance? Stop acting like someone who's broke. stressed, or hustling for worth. Start embodying the energy of someone who trusts, who flows, who receives with ease. You want love? Stop acting like someone waiting to be chosen. Start showing up like someone who already knows they're worthy, whole, magnetic. Because here's the hard truth. If your identity is the one who's still becoming, you'll never reach the version who already is. You must become the identity now, before the proof shows up. That's what quantum jumping really is. It's not pretending. It's not forcing. It's a full body, full belief shift into the version of you who already lives it. Most people are stuck in what I call the identity feedback loop. They feel like they don't have what they want, so they act like someone who's trying, which reinforces the belief that they're not there yet, which keeps creating the same reality. And the cycle repeats. Quantum jumping breaks that loop. It says, I no longer identify as the one who's waiting. I am now the version who already lives this reality, and I choose to act, think, feel, and move as them, even before it's real, especially before it's real. Because reality doesn't respond to what's real. It responds to what's consistent. When your energy matches your future self, not just in your mind, but in your nervous system, you become a magnet for the timeline where that version of you already exists. Reality starts to shift. People treat you differently. New opportunities appear. Synchronicities become normal. Your decisions come from inner knowing, not fear. And it feels less like trying to become and more like remembering who you've always been. Here's a simple activation practice. Identify the version of you you want to jump into. Be specific. How do they feel? How do they speak? What do they believe about life? Embody that version in small ways today. Posture, tone of voice, decisions, self-talk. Embody their confidence, their calm, their certainty. Cut out anything that reinforces your old limited identity, old habits, victim stories, excuses. You're not becoming anymore. You're shifting. Reinforce the new identity with aligned action. Do what that version of you would do, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you. And here's the secret. You don't have to be 100% perfect to shift. You just need to stop reinforcing the old you and start embodying the energy of the new you long enough for reality to recognize the new signal. You don't need to earn the life you want. You just need to reconnect with the version of you already living it. Because they're not far away. They're right here, waiting for you to dissolve the illusion of who you believe you are and step into the truth of who you've always been. Once you shift into that identity, reality rearranges around you, not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned with it. So how do you actually do it? How do you jump timelines and merge with the version of yourself already enjoying the life you desire? The answer might surprise you, because it doesn't begin with a checklist. It doesn't start in the mind. It doesn't demand special skills or perfect conditions. It begins with something far more profound and far simpler. A choice, not an intellectual choice, a soul-deep decision, a full body, wholehearted, complete energetic commitment. I am no longer that version of me. I claim this one now. And then, you stop glancing backward. Imagine quantum jumping like crossing an energy bridge. On one end, there's the familiar you, the one who questions, wavers, struggles, wishes. On the other end is the you who operates in certainty, who feels connected, who already possesses what you're reaching for. That bridge isn't constructed by wishing, it's built through being. Every time you think, feel, and move as your future self, you're adding another plank to that bridge. And one day, perhaps after one instant of true surrender, you'll cross over, and everything changes. Let me share a powerful practice you can begin tonight. Get quiet. Sit in stillness. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply until your thoughts begin to fade. Then ask yourself, what version of me is already living the reality I want? Don't think. Feel. This version of you already exists. They're not wishing, they're living. Let them appear. In your awareness, feel their energy. What does this version of you believe? How do they carry themselves? What do they no longer accept? What choices do they make? What vibe do they give off? Now merge with that version. See yourself stepping into their skin. Breathe like them. Sit like them. Let their energy become yours. This isn't imagination. This is alignment. Syncing your field with theirs. Leave the old timeline behind. Now, here's the hardest part, and the one most people fight. Let go of the you who isn't ready. Say goodbye to the one who overthinks, who hesitates, who waits for approval. You can't leap while clinging to the past. You can't shift realities while dragging your old self along. Let it die. Let it fade. Let it go with love. But let it go. Because every time you slip back into that identity, you snap right back to that timeline. 4. Amplify the new signal. Open your eyes. And now, live as them. Make choices they'd make. Speak like they would. Handle your phone, your work, your money, your conversations the way they would. Move through the day wrapped in their energy like a second skin. You don't need to be perfect, just purposeful. Because the field doesn't care about acts. It responds to vibration. And if your energy holds steady, the shift becomes unavoidable. You're not waiting. You're transmitting. Here's what most miss. You're not waiting for your new reality to arrive. Your new reality is waiting for you to match its frequency. The second you become the version of yourself already living that life, you start pulling that timeline closer. Like magnetism, it's not about deserving the upgrade, it's about surrendering to it. And the surrender starts the instant you declare, "This is me now." The secret isn't struggle, it's being, plus feeling. Quantum leaping doesn't happen by forcing, it happens by releasing. Letting go of needing proof, letting go of pretending, letting go of fearing it won't work. The moment you trust the leap trusts you back. You don't force the quantum field. You sync with it. You don't need to create a new version of you. You just need to remember them. They already exist. Quantum jumping is the moment you stop pretending you're not ready and start living like you've already arrived. And when you do, reality doesn't resist. It aligns. You've visualized it. You've felt it. You've even started acting like the future you. And yet, somehow, you keep slipping back into old patterns. The same thoughts, the same emotions, the same reactions. Frustrating, right? You wonder, what am I missing? Why can't I stay in the new timeline? Am I doing something wrong? Truth is, you're not doing it wrong. But there might be one thing keeping you stuck. You're trying to jump while clinging to the old you. Picture leaping across a canyon while dragging a suitcase full of bricks. That's what most people do when they attempt a quantum jump. They start aligning with their new self, but stay emotionally tied to the past. They say, "I'm abundant now," yet obsess over bills. "I trust the universe, but still check for signs every hour." "I'm confident, yet shrink when challenged." Part of them hasn't let go. A hidden identity still whispers, "What if this isn't real? What if I fall back? What if I'm just pretending?" And that whisper is enough to pull you right back. The quantum field mirrors your deepest truth. Here's the secret. The quantum field doesn't care about your words. It responds to the identity you won't release. You can repeat affirmations all day. Meditate every morning. Play the part of your future self online. But if, deep down, you still believe you're the version who struggles, who doubts, who isn't ready, That's the version the field will reflect. Because energy doesn't lie. It's not about performance. It's about what you believe in silence. To truly jump timelines, you must do what most avoid. Let the old you go. Grieve them if you need to. Honor them. Thank them. But release them. Because as long as you keep a back door open to the old identity, as long as you run just-in-case patterns in the background, you'll keep choosing that version energetically. And this is where the leap becomes real. You don't get to bring doubt into the new timeline. You don't get to bring fear. You don't get to bring the you who was never ready. To shift fully, you must surrender completely. The cycle of collapse. Here's how it usually goes. You feel inspired. You leap into a higher version of yourself. Life begins to shift. Everything feels lighter, more aligned. Then a challenge arises. Old fear creeps back in. Instead of holding on to your new identity, you slide into the old one. Reality reflects it. And you think, see? It didn't work. You fall back into the timeline you just left. This isn't failure. This is feedback. It's the universe telling you, choose again. Dig deeper. Become who you claimed you'd be. The timeline you want already exists, but only one version of you gets to live it. The one who refuses to look back. If you keep jumping but never staying, here's what to do. Find the attachment. What belief, emotion, or identity are you still holding on to? Bring it into the light. Write it down. Name it. Expose it. Thank it. Then release it. Not with shame, with gratitude. Say, thank you for protecting me, but I don't need this anymore. Step forward, and don't waver. When doubt returns, and it will, see it for what it is. The ghost of your old self. Not truth, just routine. And in that moment, choose again. You can't embrace a new identity while clinging to the old. The universe responds to your certainty, not your hesitation. So be decisive, be fearless, be finished. Let go of the you who was always striving, and welcome the you who already is. Because when the old you fades, the new timeline has no choice but to take root. Prepare to land in your shift. Let's lock this in with conviction. If you've made it this far, if you felt even a spark of recognition in your chest, a quiet knowing that whispers, "This is me," then you're no longer just watching a video. You're standing at the edge of a choice, the edge of a timeline, the edge of a version of you who stopped trying, stopped chasing, stopped doubting. And from here, there's only one thing left to do. Jump. Not by struggle, not by force, but by frequency, by identity, by becoming what you now know is already yours. Let's be clear. You aren't becoming your future self. You're remembering them, because they've always been there. In the quiet moments, in the bold visions, in the pull you feel when something whispers, "There's more." I was meant for more. You were never meant to live small, never meant to repeat the same cycles, never meant to wait for permission. You were made to leap, to shatter the illusion, to transform. And now, you are. So what happens next? From here, the only task left is to practice the new signal. Every time doubt creeps in, every time the old identity claws back, every time your mind insists nothing's changing, you choose again. Because jumping isn't a single moment. It's a new way of living, a new way of responding, a new way of making decisions, a new way of carrying yourself when alone. That's how you cement the shift. That's how you stay in the new timeline. Not by pleading, not by convincing, but by declaring, "This is who I am now." The quantum field doesn't understand time. It doesn't care how long you've fought, how many missteps you've taken, or how often you've fallen. It only responds to the signal you're sending now. So what are you sending? Are you still hesitating? Or are you choosing? Because right now, in this moment, You're collapsing either the timeline of delay or the timeline of being. You don't need more strategies. You don't need more evidence. You don't need to prepare. You just need to decide and hold that frequency as if your life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. The life you were meant for waits on the other side of that choice. If these words stirred something in you, if part of you just breathed yes, then plant it here. Now, speak it. Leave a comment below. I choose the version of me who already lives it. That one sentence tells the quantum field, I'm done with the old story. I'm no longer the one who waits. I am now the frequency of what I once desired. This is how timelines fold. This is how realities warp. This is how you change.